So, good afternoon to all the esteemed speakers. Welcome to the fourth edition of Moglix Annual Women's Day Initiative, Spark. It's truly inspiring to see a room full of dynamic women leaders today. Thank you for being part of this platform. Special welcome to Mr. Rahul Garg, founder and CEO Moglix. A big thank you to him for championing the vision behind Spark and for pushing us to create a platform like this. Today women like us are just not leading these conversations but also making some key decisions and leading these decisions in our respective roles. So I think Jigyasa is a great example of that, and I'm sure we will get to hear more from her in our session. At Moglix, we strongly believe that diversity is just not a buzzword, it's a driving force behind innovation and success. I think we are truly adhering to this. I take immense pride in being a part of this workplace that values, respects, and empowers women at every level, ensuring they have opportunities, resources to grow, lead, and make it lasting impact. So, before we kickstart this unapologetically women-led conversations, I would request Rahul to take over for the inaugural address, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for having me. And I think good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to welcome all of you to this year's edition of Spark, Leading Voices in Procurement and Supply Chain, our annual initiative, as Sugandha spoke about, which is in collaboration with CII Western Region Indian Women Network. At Moglix, I think we continue to believe that getting more women leaders into every function at Moglix. So we have women leaders across technology, women leaders across HR, marketing, sales, supply chain. I think is super important because there is an element of building the culture. There is an element of creating new customer experiences. There is an element of leadership, problem solving, innovation, which women leaders bring to the table, which is very important for building a large and scalable organization. This year's theme, that is about negotiating the boundaries of personal, professional, and procurement, I think is about highlighting this delicate balance which every woman is navigating on a everyday basis. There's a topic that resonates deeply with all of us, and I'm sure with many of you. And I'm excited to hear from all of you who have joined us today. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our returning speakers, Ms. Richa Vashne and Ms. Neha Kinney, who have been speakers in past also on the platform, but also our first-time speakers, Gayatri Aradhana from Diageo India, and Kanchan, who's still yet to join, but I believe she'll join in a bit. Ms. Kanchan Bonde from Tech Mahindra. We are honored to have all of you on this platform and look forward to your perspective. The session will be moderated by Jigyasa, who has been an inspirational leader, grooming women leadership at Moglix, and also being part of CII, continuing to spread the word on women leaders across the manufacturing organizations in particular. And as we embark on this journey of this conversation today, love to hear all the conversation and how the balance has to be drawn across the three parameters of personal, professional, and procurement. So with that, I'll hand it over to Jigyasa. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to the conversation.
Thank you, Rahul. Just a few things. Like Rahul said, we've been doing multiple editions of Spark now. I think it's fourth or fifth year. Sometimes we do it physically. Like last time we did it in IIM Mumbai, in collaboration with IIM Mumbai and CII. We did a session, and this year also we did something in IIM Mumbai. But we thought that we will create a candid conversation platform this time rather than webinar, and then sort of propagate this across to the various mediums. That way we can actually not limit the reach to just the people who can attend webinar. I would like to start by thanking all of you for taking the time to join and share your experiences. And please introduce yourself for the sake of all of us here who would love to know more about what you do, who you are, and feel free to describe yourself in the most unconventional way. The reason I say this is because we will try to keep this conversation really free flowing and candid while we have our interesting theme around negotiating the boundaries, which is very sort of akin to what we do in our daily life in supply chain, as well as how we lead our lives. um, we will try to keep the conversation really fluid, because and I was discussing this with Neha last night, that it is important for us who have reached the top 1 or 2 percentile of women leadership across the country, to talk about not just our strengths but our vulnerabilities, our issues, and how we have overcome it, and what do we do, and how we think about leadership as a facet. So let's begin the discussion by everyone introducing themselves.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Rahul. So it's a wonderful thing to have such a gathering with the women, and I think each one of us have a lot of things to learn from each other, because each woman has her own story to tell, or her own experience to share. So my name is Neha Kini, and I'm a chief commercial officer for the copper business of Vedanta. I've been associated with Vedanta for nearly 24 years now, and I've done various roles in Vedanta. I was a started my career with the IT and digital, moved into commercial, then operations, and now this role I'm handling for the copper business.
Thanks, Neha. Gayatri, would you want to go next?
Sure. Thanks, Jigyasa. First of all, thank you so much for having me here today, and especially with the other esteemed panelists that we have here. Quick intro. My name is Gayatri Aradhana. I head marketing and indirect procurement for Diageo India. It's been almost more than 6.5 years here in with Diageo, and have always been a procurement professional. But a little bit on the personal front, okay, I'll switch to the personal front with a slight integration from professional. So even though I'm a procurement professional, that is post my MBA. Before that, I'm actually graduate from NIFT, so into fashion designing and technology, and then I switched career here. So somewhere deep down there, my roots or my heart literally go back to somewhat around sketching, designing, all those kind of things.
Thanks, Gayatri. Thanks. You have a very interesting profile. Also, we'll come to that, marketing and procurement both. So we would love to hear more. In fact, just to tell you, Neha also has a very interesting background. She's been CIO and CDO, and now she is in the commercial background. So I think the multitasking facet, and even my journey in Moglix has transformed through various roles in last 8 years, right from product to commercial and leading, sales and all of that. So it's interesting how bunch of us here have done various things, and then Richa will have more interesting stories to tell you, because Richa has also seen crazy transformation in her life in terms of professional changes. Richa, over to you.
So I am working right now in Hindustan Zinc. I'm a retired wing commander from Indian Air Force, and I have in my journey in Air Force, what I have seen is the supply chain, how it has taken a leaps and bound from working from the manual to the AI environment. So that transition, which I have seen in the armed forces, and then now in my current profile, where I'm doing purchase as well as uh, also I'm looking after a few profile which is related to marketing and sales as well. So it is really challenging, and in my personal life, as it was also rightly told, that a woman is always having a negotiation with her, and that's the strongest quality which I feel women possess. So yeah, looking forward to you hear more from all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Richa. Nicolette, you can please go next.
Sure. Hi everyone, good evening. It's very nice to meet you all. My name is Nicolette. I work with CII Western Region. One of the things uh, that one of the things that I'm responsible for is something called the Indian Women Network, which is the platform under which we're working, where we're looking at um, enhancing the lives of careered women, hence Indian Women Network. And our association with Moglix is just a year old, I think, but there's quite a bit that we have achieved together in the last year as well. So I'm very grateful to have to be organizing this along with Moglix. And I might be taking some notes from all the speakers, so I just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolette. Sugandha and Adya.
So, hi everyone. I'm Sugandha. I'm a 30-year-old woman who was married into a Punjabi family, Punjabi joint family. And I love socializing. I love going on coffee dates. I love hitting gym. That's all about my personal life. And professionally, I lead events and alliances with Moglix. It's been 2.5 years now. Before that, I was into media. I was handling events and collaborations with India Today Group, and followed by handling brand solution role with Jaipur Literature Festival. So it's a complete shift from media to tech driven company, and I'm loving it. And I'm here to learn more from you who are more experienced in handling, negotiating, the three P's in life. So I'm up to hear from you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sugandha. Adya.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you. Um, so my name is Atya. I recently joined the CII Western Region. I work with Nicolette and her team, and I'm very excited to join this session today, and I'm just looking forward to the conversation. Thank you.
Very nice. An interesting observation. So we have like a few generations of women here, of all age range, and it's going to be an interesting conversation. I would also encourage Adya and Sugandha and Nicolette to not feel like organizers and join in and chime in wherever required. So, it's interesting when the team came to me, what should be this year's topic, I said, we always do this session with procurement leaders and supply chain leaders who are constantly negotiating and being women. Right from the time you're born, you are negotiating your boundaries. If you think about it, like as a daughter, I was always negotiating with my mom to let me stay that extra hour outside home, or like when I grew up a little, I was negotiating, let me go alone on trips, which is not like so hard for boys, but for women it's still, at least our time, it was tough. Now also it's tough, but maybe relatively easier. At workplace, we are negotiating the role we want, the salary parity we want, and at home, there are milestones which every woman go through, whether it is marriage, it is childbirth or elderly care and all of that. And that's a constant negotiation of boundaries, which by the way is not a small thing, where you put your foot down to choose what you want to choose and how it helps you in shaping you up as a person and as a professional. uh, I don't think we need to go there as to why this is a topic of interest or why it's different for women compared to men. Everybody knows why it's different for women compared to men. But I want to start with a question saying that, does negotiating your boundaries, as I put it, uh, has has it helped you, in your profession as a supply chain expert, or a professional who's doing procurement and commercial all the time? So how do you see that translating it into your career and helping you build up as professional? Gayatri, why don't you start?
Sure. Like you rightly mentioned, Yasha, we don't even need to go like why we are even discussing this particular word. But I feel so negotiating is something that I really don't look at it as a negative thing. But I feel that because you're negotiating, you need to be super, super clear on what are your priorities, what are your end goal, what are you negotiating for? What if you get that, is it really the best what's going to happen for you? I mean, let me just put it, what are you fighting for? So when you know that you're working to get something out of it, it means that you're very, very clear in your priorities, right, in your goals. And I think one of the best part about negotiating is you exactly know what you want, and when you know what you want, it means your vision, your goal is clear. And now, as a as a leader, it's important for you to make everyone else believe in your shared vision. You need to make your vision shared. So I feel that negotiation actually brings that clarity and that clarity in your vision, in your end goal, into your life. And hence, negotiation should just not be like, I'll give you this, you give me that. That's what it's not a barter. It's more about you realizing what you really want. So somehow I feel that be it any sphere of life, at home or at office or with a supplier, you are just being very clear of your end goal. That is really the vision that I feel with negotiation.
No, that's really good, Gayatri. So you spoke about how we are clear of the end goal. So one thing is to have clarity of that goal, and the second thing is communicating that clarity. So, Neha, do you think that women have an advantage in negotiating because they come across with a more clear intent in negotiations? See, because also I feel that when two parties are involved in negotiation, you essentially arrive to a batna or a zone of win-win only when the intent of both the parties come through clearly. Do you think women have an advantage there, and if yes, why do you think so?
No, see, negotiation is art. I think as a women, we have been groomed in a way that we have to negotiate because since childhood, there is kind of a boundaries which are set for women, as you rightly mentioned that beta yahan mat jao, itne time mein mat jao, this will happen, that will happen. Some preconceived notions are there in the society today. Also, it is because women are vulnerable. Parents are caring more about their girl child than the boy, considering the vulnerabilities or some inherent thought processes. But only one thing we have to remember that what for we are negotiating, but also it is important that what is that win-win situation with which we negotiate, because it should not so happen that it's my way or it's not going to work out, because at times that also happens. So it's important to keep that maturity in place and negotiate in a manner neither your relationship or your family gets impacted out of it, but it should be in a manner where both are benefited.
No, very interesting. Richa, I want you to come in here and talk about, you have two diverse experience where you were from one male dominated sector to other male dominated sector, where you were in army as wing commander for such a long time, air force rather. And so what are the times that you had to actually push your boundaries and negotiate hard for what you thought was rightfully yours in that setup? I mean, if there are some things that you can talk about.
Yeah. So, Jigyasa, I have been posted to so many places. Like I've seen 7 bases. So sorry for me not using the camera because I was on a field visit. So
That's okay.
wherever I have gone, so there was a different pace of dealing with people because of the culture, because of the various reasons like geographical area and the requirement of the places, because since I was posted in air force in different systems also, so the requirement was also different. So typically, as Neha was also mentioning, it should not be my way or highway. It has to be somewhere win-win situation. So to bring everybody on board, because there would be certain factors which are even related to political things will come up, welfare issues will also come up with the related to the local people also. So these are all the factors where the negotiation power, not only as a procurement specialist, also people convincing. So that is very important, and that is what I have learned through the career journey, as well as the personal, while we are also dealing with people who are working below us. So there also a skill of negotiation and putting your point right, so that people are able to join you in your goal achievement, as well as the organization is also benefited by that.
Understood. Understood. No, no, that's fair enough. I'm going to ask like one uncomfortable question which you guys can feel free to dodge or answer. So, when, like I said, when we were talking about the topic about negotiating boundaries, it was also about how many times in your professional journey did you have to actually draw that boundary, and I'm talking more in terms of, like when you were not treated uh, equal on merit, or sometimes when you felt that and it need not be because you are a woman, but even otherwise you felt that you could have been treated better, or because I mean we've all reached reasonably that leadership position, and I can't believe that it has been one straight line. I'm sure that the trend line has been straight, but there has been enough crest and troughs for all of us. And it would be great if, each of us can share one such, instance where we had put our foot down professionally, because it's a great learning for, people who are looking up to us to know, how and when to put your foot down and draw a boundary.
One instance comes to my mind. It's the initial days of my career, wherein I had to take a complete bed rest when I was caring during my first child's case. So either I have to quit the job, or you know, or I have to make a compromise with it. But it was practically not possible for me to come to office and do it, because that were big no from the doctor. So when I came back and I discussed with my boss, and I said, I have to quit the job if this is the case. But if you think that I can add value to the organization, so I'm here. I'll come and join back. And believe it or not, that conversation resulted in he going and talked to the senior most person in the organization. And I was granted the leave of 9 months that point of time. I'm talking about somewhere in 2002. What they saw in me is that there was a value and they had invested in me, and then I was also delivering the results at point of time, and leaving this lady which is completely prepared for some time would not help in the organization. And after close to 15 years, the person who gave this approval said that today we are having you here just because that day I made a decision, because that was one of the decision and courageous decision. The gentleman had done it, and he remembers that because it was kind of a not a normal decision in 20 years back.
That's very interesting. I'll, in fact, just fair for me also to share. So, I've my career in sales has been pretty long, and that too in enterprise sales, on and off. I think for last 10 or uh, more than 10 years, 15 years almost, I have been doing enterprise sales, and sales is one area where it's a fine, just like procurement, but where you're dealing with a external stakeholder, but also it is a fine line between you don't come across as a person who is too stuck up, and at the same time, if you in enterprise sales also, if you compare the number of men, compared to number of women, men are still more, even in the most MNCs or whatever. And one of the reasons is that a lot of sales happens actually outside office, at the sutta places, or catching up on drink after office. And one of the boundaries that I had drawn professionally long time back was that I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this, not because I'm conservative. Like, I can still possibly ask some people out on drinks or a get together if those professionally made connections turn into friendship, or of some shape or form. But I wouldn't want to adopt it as a style to uh, do it as a as a ritual for me to get information or make that sale happen. I think it worked for me. It has never stopped me from either getting intel that I need to or make the sales, because I believe that great relationships can be forged by being useful to people and helping them solve their problems, rather than have being on a backslapping term and going out for drinks or cigarette breaks. And like last year we had Neelam address us, and Neelam is one of the, if nothing, she's one of the most admired uh, lady in our professional. Neelam Dhawan I'm talking about, and she has led enterprise sales for such a long time. She's built HP to a point where it is, and Microsoft. And she also had similar principles. When I spoke to her, I got so much more reinforcement that you really do not need to follow that conventional pattern of, having conversations or making sales outside the boundaries that make you comfortable. You attend parties and then you leave by 8, 8:30 if that is what's your good time. So that's my story. Gayatri, would you want to share yours?
Um, yeah, the funniest part was by the time Neha spoke, Jigyasa, you spoke, I think in my mind, my story is literally changed, you know, to such an extent that I'm not thinking that what should I actually tell. So maybe I'll start with something of like a little bit of setback. The stories you have mentioned are definitely positive ones. I'll go to a slightly negative one. And thankfully, it's not now, but it was when I really started my journey. So I was like doing product development and for apparel. And most of the time, you actually need to be on the shop floor. And this I'm talking about some like 15, 17 years back kind of thing. And sometimes you really need to stretch. I mean, you need to get your lines, your workforce into OT and all to get your things done. And so I think those were the era, maybe or whatever, when we didn't have this privilege that we're having today. But I could definitely sense that how do I connect to those people, वो master Gs and all on the lines and get them to get this out for me? मतलब मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ इनके लिए? I staying back. I mean, it was a safe environment. That's okay. But I always felt that maybe my male counterpart really has it easy because he was able to bond with those people. And I just remember very clearly one evening when I had to get one OT done. I was like, okay, मैं आप लोगों के लिए ना समोसे मंगवाती हूँ. Let's just bond over samosa because there's nothing else that I can really bond with. So that was just one instance very early in my career, long time back, but it's still stuck in my head because sometimes I mean I just felt that day that only maybe because I was a woman, I have to take that extra effort so that I don't negotiate with my principles. I get my work done, and I mean, and how do I break it? So that is I mean, thankfully everything worked well. People were really nice and everything, but I feel that sometimes as women, you really tend to stretch yourself way out, thinking, ki, okay, what can I do so that you are being yourself, you are delivering, and in that way, I feel that we are way more creative.
So, Richa, would love to hear from you as well. I mean, were there any uncomfortable boundaries that you have pushed in your career, either in your life as an army person or now?
Yeah. So when I think about the word negotiation, so as we know that the best negotiator of the world are the negotiator who are there for any hijack. So when we talk about negotiation, it comes from the fact that it's not just the money or the monetary thing. It is also somewhere lives. So the world's best negotiator comes from there. And also, what I feel in personal life, mother is the best negotiator. When she talks to her child, ki, you want this or you want this, and you have to decide and you have to plan your schedule this way. So I will give you this. And what is the reward? What are the incentives which I will be giving you? And these are the small things which also goes, I mean, from, small shopkeeper to bigger, industry things. But as a woman in the procurement marketing field where I am, what I have felt personally is that I've been always sent, ki, okay, you go because you being a woman will do a better, negotiation. We have full faith in you. You must have done a good negotiation. So that is what I have, on me, my, organization and my bosses have, entrusted on me. So whatever we have, today, what learnings from each other's journey, and negotiation power is one skill which is brushed up gradually. It doesn't come in a day. By the life experience, by the surroundings, by the learnings from our seniors, and by our own kids also. Sometimes we learn so many things which we use them in our personal, professional, as well as wherever we go. This skill of negotiation, it is to grow with the times. So that is what I can say on today's conversation with each other.
No, that is amazing point, Richa, and thanks all of you for joining and sharing such good insights on your journey, being so candid about your journey, talking about your vulnerabilities, things that you have achieved, things that you wish you would have achieved, and all of that. Just some interesting facts in procurement. 38% of procurement roles globally actually reflect women. It's a very good number if you